The Dragon Ball Super story has centered around Goku and Vegeta's progression, going from attaining Super Saiyan God via a ritual for Goku and Vegeta just doing it on his damn own via training, then stacking the Super Saiyan forms on top, becoming Super Saiyan God Super Saiyans, otherwise known as Super Saiyan Blue, then even finding a way to go beyond that with the Super Saiyan Blue extension forms, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken in Goku's case, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution in Vegeta's case, then even transcending that somehow by becoming ultra level beings, I guess you could say, with Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Yet somehow Goku and Vegeta are still being surpassed by the likes of Frieza, Gohan and Broly. Now whilst you'll hear some Goku and Vegeta stands, wah, this ain't fair, unfortunately the story has portrayed these three characters in Universe 7 to have vastly more natural potential than both Goku and Vegeta. And Vegeta's a Saiyan prodigy. Unfortunately, there's just other Saiyans out there that are prodigies amongst prodigies. Of course, they are not the only ones. There's also Frieza, who's a prodigy and a mutant amongst his race. But all three of these characters that seem to have the ability to do minimal training, yet somehow surpass even Goku and Vegeta, despite them having the personalities to attain forms that are way beyond regular mortal attainment levels. For example, Goku attained Ultra Instinct, and a technique that Beerus has taken millions of years to only achieve a semi-version of. Whilst less delved into, Vegeta has achieved Ultra Ego, which allows him to use Destruction or Hakai, which is something that's usually attributed to a character that's become a God of Destruction candidate. Yet despite all this, there are three characters in their own universe that have surpassed them without even attaining God Ki, at least definitely in two of the cases, perhaps all three cases. Frieza is an obvious one with his Black Frieza form. He surpassed True Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, knocking them out in one blow on Planet Cereal in the Granola arc. Then of course we've seen recently in chapter 102, Gohan Beast is somewhat matching a current post-superhero arc, Ultra Instinct Goku. Then of course there's Broly, that even if you go back to the Broly movie, he surpassed the Tournament of Power Ultra Instinct Goku with his legendary Super Saiyan form. And if you look at the promotional material for the superhero movie, Broly is still portrayed as the strongest. Whether that includes Gohan Beast and Black Frieza remains to be seen. I'm sure in terms of the adaptation to the manga, we'll find out in the next few chapters, as Gohan Beast, Ultra Instinct Goku and Broly are all on the same planet right now. But even for the Broly deniers out there, even if you look at the training between Broly and Vegeta, base Broly is at Super Saiyan Vegeta's level. You extrapolate Broly's transformations from there, his Akari state, his Super Saiyan state stacked on top of that, and then his legendary Super Saiyan state, and how he grows in power during a fight. I think it becomes pretty obvious he's way beyond blue level. In fact, if you think Broly is being brought back in the story just to be put on blue level, I think you're living in Cloud Cuckoo land. In fact, the Broly movie Broly arguments are actually growing in strength, not weakening, given Toy Hotaro's had to tell you 2 chapters in a row that Broly cannot go Super Saiyan at will right now. But the question is out of these 3 characters who Goku and Vegeta are constantly having to train and break their limits to keep up with, which one has the most potential out of Frieza, Gohan and Broly? Now the interesting thing between these 3, as they all have 3 different drivers as to what drives their power. They all become extremely strong in different ways. In fact, each one has something that is unique to them that is better than the other 2. But which one allows the character to become the strongest overall, and which character has the most potential? Well, we're going to look at that in this video. So we'll start off with Gohan. Gohan is a hybrid Saiyan, half Earthling, half Saiyan. He has unnaturally enormous power. Obviously, being a Saiyan on Earth, his S cells are heightened due to the fact that he is on a kinder planet, and that allows Gohan to undergo emotional upheavals that allow him to go way beyond the natural limits of a regular Saiyan. I've seen some people call Gohan a hybrid mutant. I don't know about mutant. Let me know why you think he's a mutant down in the comment section, but people have rightly pointed out that he is the only half-breed Saiyan that was born with a tail, at least that we know of. So just like Broly, you could argue that he may have Uzaru potential dormant within inside of him, even though he no longer has a tail. Maybe his beast form has some relation to that. However, it's Gohan's natural level of power and hidden potential that has allowed him to be vastly stronger than the likes of Goku and Vegeta. Even as a baby, he was stronger than a 20-plus-year-old Goku when he let all of his power out. Unfortunately for him at the time, he had to go into a rage to actually allow that power to come out. And whilst he always had that power, he wasn't even able to access that power naturally, even after using it after a rage, because rage boosts don't naturally stick with the Saiyans immediately after. They have to train to then bring out that power once they know they have it. It's dormant within them, and obviously Gohan has undergone 2 different potential unleashed type ceremonies, one with Elder Guru on Namek, and obviously the Elder Kai, which brought out his ultimate form, which seems to be a precursor to his Gohan Beast form. Now we'll get to comparisons with the other two in a moment. We'll talk about Frieza now. Frieza obviously was extremely strong when we first encountered him on Namek. He had a power level of 120 million. Until Goku became Super Saiyan, the other Z Warriors were not standing a chance. Even the Saiyans were not standing a chance against Frieza. Even if they become Uzarus, they wouldn't have stood a chance against Frieza. Frieza was basically enslaving the Saiyans, and they could do nothing about it until Goku became a Super Saiyan. Now, until Resurrection of F, in terms of Frieza's potential and actual ability to get stronger, we didn't know a lot about it, because once he died on Namek, we didn't hear from him again in the original Dragon Ball Z manga. However, what we learned in Resurrection of F was that Frieza's amps come largely from simply just training. Frieza trains, does 20 press-ups, he gets massively stronger. If you think about it, if Frieza just did 50 press-ups before he arrived on Earth, raw after he became Mecha Frieza, he would have defeated Super Saiyan Future Trunks with relative ease. Just kidding, who knows. But still, he underwent 4 months of training leading up to the fight against Goku and Vegeta in Resurrection of F, and with 4 months of training, he went from Namek level Frieza, who was weaker than Super Saiyan Goku, to as strong as a Resurrection of F version of Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Really, he was a little bit stronger, except he just hadn't really got used to the form, so he couldn't maintain that strength for long, which was ultimately his downfall. Let's go from Namek levels of power, weaker than Super Saiyan Goku at the time, to beyond Super Saiyan Blue levels as of Resurrection of F in the space of 4 months is absolutely insane growth for 4 months training. In fact, in terms of training, his growth is faster than Gohan's in terms of how quick Gohan gets powerful from training. And Gohan does get powerful from training quite quickly. So when we found out that Black Frieza trained for 10 years in a Room of Spirit and Time, you can only imagine how powerful he has become. The only character we know he hasn't surpassed for definite is Beerus, if you take the Jump Guide seriously, but even then he managed to one-shot Gas, who was the strongest in the universe at the time, and then he managed to one-shot both Goku and Vegeta at the same time whilst they were using their Ultra forms. They had not long been healed. Now there are some arguments against Frieza's growth in that 10-year time period. Some people believe that he would not necessarily have grown at the same rate as he did in Resurrection of F in that 4 months. He may have plateaued a little bit whilst he trained for 10 years, and the fact that he talks about how he had to go through a lot of toil to get to this new level of strength could also indicate that. People love to go wild when they see a character one-shot another character in Dragon Ball, going crazy with they are 100 times, 200 times, thousands of times stronger. It's not even necessary to do that, be that much stronger in Dragon Ball to one-shot an opponent. But quite simply put, Frieza's gains are from training. He doesn't seem to get rage amps or emotional upheaval amps like Gohan. On to Broly, who obviously was introduced in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Broly, who has the potential to become the legendary Super Saiyan, underwent a transformation in one fight in a approximately 2-hour period, 2 to 3 hours at most, where he made Frieza's 4-month training gains look like a joke. Even in his base form, it's unlikely he was even strong as final form Frieza from Namek, even though we don't know the exact number for his power level, but he went from that level fighting against Vegeta and adapted so fast due to him being a Saiyan mutant, or as Caulifla put in the Tournament of Power, a demonic Saiyan, as she referred to Kale, and we know that the two forms that they have are both the same. And for those people saying that Broly doesn't necessarily get legendary Super Saiyan in the manga, claiming we don't see the green tint in his hair, go and have a look at Kale in the coloured version of the Dragon Ball Super Manga. The hair colour to Broly's is exactly the same. We only see Kefla have the green tint in her hair in the manga. Broly, the legendary Saiyan, who can become a Super Saiyan, therefore the legendary Super Saiyan, became so strong in one fight that he could fight and take massive blows from a Super Saiyan Blue level fusion. Now, whilst Broly's driver for growth are somewhat similar to Gohan's, he does undergo rage. The difference is Gohan can actually control his rage, whereas Broly loses control of himself and goes completely berserk, not even recognizing friend from foe, which I think Toyotaro did a great job of advocating in chapter 101 when we saw Vegeta training with Broly. But whilst Gohan's drivers are being a half-breed and undergoing emotional upheavals, Broly's is basically being a demonic legendary Saiyan that comes around every thousands of years, and he has insane adaptation hacks. He adapts to his opponent at an extraordinary rate. When you consider how strong he got in that fight, it is literally mind-blowing to compete with a blue level fusion. So let's start looking at some comparisons. Now obviously Frieza's driver for growth is his training, and if you look at his training in 4 months, he can go and attain blue level power in 4 months of training. He has now done 10 years of training, 30 times longer than what he did in Resurrection of F. Now here's the debate about Frieza. Some people believe that he would have plateaued during his 10-year training regime in the Spirit of Time, and they use the fact that he claims that it took a lot of toil to get to this level as means of backup for that. However, even if he grew at the same level, he would only be 30 times stronger, considering it was only 30 times the amount of time he spent in Resurrection of F. Of course, that would be 30 times stronger than his, say, Broly movie level, which you could argue is already stronger than his tournament's power level as well. Now, would that be able to work in power scaling? Only with the slow power creep theory. However, there is also the possibility that he got exponentially stronger during that 10 years of training, and that's what led to him vastly surpassing Goku and Vegeta. So guys, down in the comment section, let me know which of those 3 hypothetical possibilities you believe Frieza grew during the training he undertook. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have got to say about that down in the comment section, but compared to the other 2 characters, it would need to grow at an exponential faster rate, to be brutally honest. Even though 4 months training to get to blue level sounds impressive, it actually isn't when you consider what the other characters did. Broly, in the Broly movie, competed with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta at the same time. If that was to be the manga adaptation, it would be completed Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, who you could argue would be relative to a Golden Frieza at that time. However, base Gogeta turned up and was stronger than all 3 of them, and then transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, which is a thousands of times multiplier. Whilst I agree that Broly got his ass handed to him by Gogeta Blue, he was taking heavy blows and showed enough durability and endurance to compete with Gogeta Blue, at least for a short amount of time, taking quite heavy attacks at times, to be honest. So if you went from the point of Golden Frieza in the Broly movie and Super Saiyan Broly, who fought Golden Frieza and was stronger than Golden Frieza in the Broly movie, and said that Frieza would get 30 times stronger than there based on the growth rate of Resurrection of F, or Gogeta Blue levels, which one is stronger? Well, Gogeta Blue levels is thousands of times that level, so I think the answer is pretty obvious. This is why I'm not as quick to dismiss the consistency from the franchise putting blue level fusions at Beerus' level, and even potentially Broly movie Broly. It's not as weak of a theory as you think. Now, it is quite possible that Frieza's growth rate in the hyperbolic time chamber training for 10 years actually accelerated. In fact, it would need to compete with the levels of a blue fusion based on what we've just been through in terms of multipliers, but it's quite possible that it did. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. You could look at the Moro arc and the Granola arc and easily scale Goku and Vegeta via some of the feats they achieve to go beyond that 30 times that I've just talked about. However, you could even go for a slow creep and get it lower than that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's what's exciting about Dragon Ball at the moment. We should get answers very soon. But then looking at Gohan, Gohan has also achieved this level of growth that Frieza's achieved with very minimal training. Now, Gohan has been training, guys. He does say in the Future Trunks arc, he tells Future Trunks that he has training in a gravity chamber. Now, whilst he doesn't always stay sharp and is constantly reminded that he needs to train more by Piccolo, it's more so that he has to undergo some sort of emotional upheaval to attain a new level of power that usually surpasses Goku and Vegeta. However, this is usually his own power that is brought out, like with his ultimate form, it's literally just his own power being fully accessible, undergoing the ritual. What Gohan Beast is yet, we don't fully truly know, but as we can see from chapter 102, he is competing with a post-superhero Ultra Instinct Goku. So he has undergone the same types of gains that potentially even Frieza's undergone, because it's hard to scale where this current Ultra Instinct Goku's at, because he's now using the silver-haired form reliably again, as far as we can tell, and he's undergone a certain amount of time training, so we don't know whether he closed the gap on Granola Art Black Frieza or not. Obviously, there's a current Art Black Frieza that we have to take into account as well. But Gohan does train, but he requires a certain type of emotional upheaval to attain that level of power. As we saw against Moro, he literally saw his dad get punched through the chest, and he didn't quite undergo that level of emotional upheaval advancement that we saw when you saw Piccolo die in Superhero. We're not going to start who is Gohan's father debate right now. So guys, the question is out of these three characters, who has the most potential? Well, Frieza has technically took 10 years and 4 months of training, more really when you consider that he actually did training in hell with mind training. It's ridiculous that he can get strong with mind training, but it definitely wasn't the kind of growth that he got from Resurrection of F 4 months training and the current training he did in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. It technically took him that amount of training to get to this level. So Frieza's driver is simply just training. Gohan does train and has been training for on and off for 20 plus years, but it's his emotional upheavals and that he's a hybrid Saiyan that allow him to access a huge wealth of power. Broly, however, went from weaker than Namek's Saga Frieza levels to Blue Fusion levels in the space of 2 or 3 hours. But his seems to be from, once again, very much similar to Gohan's Rage, but also some sort of severe adaptability hacks that he has with his legendary Super Saiyan state. Out of these three, Broly quite frankly has the most potential. It's not hard to see why at the end of the Broly movie, Frieza stated that if Broly could bring out all of his power and control it, nobody in the universe could beat him. He is ridiculously strong. Obviously, it's a complete hacks Saiyan mutant state that he has, and comparatively to Goku and Vegeta, it is unfair, really, when they undergo all this training. So it's Frieza's training amps versus Gohan's Saiyan hybrids, emotional upheaval amps versus Broly's rage out, insane adaptability amps. And Broly's just simply grow at a much faster rate than the other two. Even if you want to take into account Broly's training amps, he isn't really suggested to get massive training amps. Obviously he trained with Paragus, who was quite weak, to be fair, on planet Vampa for years, and he only reached a certain level despite being a prodigy. Whereas his training currently on Beerus' planet, if anything, Goku and Vegeta have actually closed the gap on Broly, because in the Broly movie, or the Broly events, base Broly was overpowering Super Saiyan Vegeta, whereas in the manga version, in the current arc, Super Saiyan Vegeta and base Broly were pretty even, so it actually suggests that Broly's fell behind them, not stayed in front of them in terms of training amps. It's his rage out adaptability moments that actually freak the likes of Goku and Vegeta out, where they're actually scared that he could completely destroy Beerus' planet without them even being able to respond, even though they have their Ultra forms now. It's definitely something to think about. And obviously with the superhero movie, we had the statement from Toriyama himself, the author, even Broly wouldn't be able to defeat a complete Cell Max, clearly using Broly still as the benchmark. Now obviously that is the movie continuity. Does it translate to the manga continuity? I would personally think so, but let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. Clearly, in terms of potential here, based on previous showings, Broly just simply has the most potential, despite the other two having very impressive potential themselves. You could argue that Broly might not get the same kind of adaptability at amps in future fights and may require a transformation. That's very possible and plausible. Based on previous showings, I think there's a clear winner here. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do smash a like on the video. It does truly help the channel and I appreciate your continued support. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.